our country truly is facing a financial crisis. I guess the good news is that even Congress is beginning to ask a core question that's part of that financial crisis, which is simply this: how long can we continue to spend almost twice as much money as we bring in? The unfortunate part is that we've waited so long to ask that question. I wish we'd asked it before we embarked upon the series of bailouts and stimulus bills that we have embarked upon over the last several years. I'm happy that I'm one of only 17 members of Congress that voted against each and every one of those. But I'm unhappy at where it has brought us, which is the fear that we had that this runaway spending would bring us to a point where we had to begin cutting the national defense capabilities of our country. Today, we will vote on the Defense Appropriations Bill, H.R. 2219, which will reduce the President's budget for national defense by $8.9 billion. That's only a down payment of the cuts that are going to come. The next cuts, we're told, could be $400 billion to $700 billion from our national defense. And before we do that, there are two crucial questions we need to ask. The first one is, what is the risk assessment that the United States faces today? Now, that should be answered by our quadrennial defense review, but if you look at a bipartisan independent assessment of that quadrennial defense review, you find out that we are a train wreck on its way to happening, because that defense assessment is truly become no more than a reaffirmation of what we are already doing. The second thing that we should be asking before we decide what we can cut is how much we are currently spending and what the risk will be if we make those cuts. Unfortunately, the Department of Defense hasn't provided us with the audited financial statements the law requires, so we know where we're spending those dollars, and we don't know the true risk of making those cuts. But, Mr. Speaker, let me just tell you that there is a way you can find out. Our commanders on the field provide us with the quarterly readiness report to Congress, which is a classified document. Now, I know as chairman of the Readiness Subcommittee for the Armed Services Committee that I'm in a minority, probably, and going to vote against this bill today. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm also in a minority of the individuals who have read this classified report. I would encourage our members to do, before they cast their vote today to begin down that series of cuts to our national defense, is at least go in to our staff today and read the quarterly readiness report to Congress that's a classified document. Our staff is ready to show you the document, to let you review that document. And, Mr. Speaker, I believe if you will just do that, it will be very difficult to then come on this floor and begin to start voting to cut and make the cuts we're going to make to national defense. And, Mr. Speaker, that's why today I can't support that bill and will be voting against it. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Turner, for 5 minutes.